Aaron.
Yeah.
Why didn't you say it the first time I said Aaron?
Because it's pronounced Aaron?
You done messed up, Aaron!
I done messed up my little screen orientation there. Welcome back, everyone. Aaron is here for a bit more SPTV, where, as I like to remind everybody, every day is a great day not to be in a cult. Guys, I have to thank you viewers out there for sharing with me this document that I was only hoping to be able to find. Specifically, thank a juror. Let's see. The initials are NF. Nina. I have to thank Nina once again. I think I thanked Nina in a video I did yesterday. Okay, this has to do with Scientology getting caught jury tampering, jury intimidation. I know jury tampering and jury intimidation are not the same thing. I think intimidation is tampering, but tampering is not necessarily intimidation. It doesn't matter, guys. Where this came up for the first time was last week. I started talking about YouTuber, former deputy district attorney, member of LawTube, Emily D. Baker, and Emily's coverage of the Leah Remini's lawsuit against Scientology. And Emily Baker, over the years, has mentioned that when she was working as a jurist in Los Angeles, she was involved in a civil trial where Scientology was involved in jury intimidation. And I asked you viewers, please, if you can, try to help me find out what case this was and what exactly happened. And you guys, specifically Nina, did not disappoint. Guys, I think we're going to uncover something. I think I'm going to share something with you here that even the judge at the time may not have fully understood or appreciated the connection to Scientology, but we'll discuss that in a few moments here. This is the document that was shared with me, and then I went further understanding the context of all this. This is 2005. It makes perfect sense that this date would coincide with when Emily Baker would have been working in Los Angeles on a civil case such as this. Now, here's the first thing about this document that, but I'll try not to bury the lead here. Notice to Ellen Marie Farney. Pursuant to their obligations under CCP, members of the jury pool have informed the court that you have communicated or attempted to communicate with jurors regarding the substance of the above entitled action. You are hereby notified that this conduct, if true, is contemptuous and punishable as such. Further, this conduct may subject you to arrest and prosecution for a violation of Penal Code. I think that means Statute 95, but I don't know, guys. Under the court's inherent authority to control its proceedings and in furtherance of protecting the integrity of the jury process, you are hereby ordered as follows. 1, you shall not communicate or attempt to communicate in any manner with any person known to you to be a member of the jury pool in this case. 2, you shall not enter the Stanley Mosque Courthouse at 111 North Hill Street, Los Angeles, at any time during the pendency of this action unless required to conduct official court business, and then only upon the advance written permission of the presiding judge. Any violation of this order is punishable as contempt and may subject you to arrest and criminal prosecution. It is so ordered. November 3rd, 2005, William A. McLaughlin, presiding judge. So who is Ellen Marie Farney? Is she just a Scientologist? Was she a party to this case? Ellen Marie Farney at the time was a Scientology Sea Org member posted at Scientology's Office of Special Affairs International. Now, she got in a little trouble here, and as such was probably subjected to quite a lot of discipline, because I spoke with a former Sea Org member yesterday who said that in 2006, Ellen Farney attempted to escape from the Sea organization in Los Angeles. She clearly did not succeed, because I spoke to another former Sea Org member today who said that as of now, Ellen Farney has been busted so far down the ranks of Scientology Sea organization that she is working in the addresso offices of the advanced organization in Los Angeles in the basement underneath L. Ron Hubbard Way. That is where they have buried Ellen Farney. Now, there's so much more we're going to discuss here. I want to show you Ellen Farney is married to Lynn Farney, the corporate secretary of the Church of Scientology International. Lynn Farney is still himself posted in Scientology's Office of Special Affairs International. Those offices are located at 6331 Hollywood Boulevard in the what's called the Hollywood Guarantee Building. And yet his wife has been banished to the basements underneath L. Ron Hubbard Way, probably in part for bringing attention to Scientology in a negative manner and also for trying to escape the Sea Organization. Okay, so let's go back to the part of this document that really confused me to begin with. The confusing part is that this is in the case of Wollersheim versus Scientology. I can tell you that pretty much every Scientologist in the world thought that the Wollersheim case ended in the 80s and that Scientology won the Wollersheim case. In fact, Scientology lost the Wollersheim case, and the case and efforts to collect the judgment in that case dragged on until 2005, at which point Scientology had to fork over to Larry over $8 million. That's a far cry from winning the case, and yet Scientology tells Scientologists that they won that case. Okay, still much more to discuss here. Okay, the Larry Wollersheim case can be found. The details of it can be found. It's very thoroughly covered in a Wikipedia article of all things. The case was originally brought in 1980. I'm not going to try to go over all the details of the case here because I want to focus on the obstruction. But the original verdict and award in this case was a combined $30 million. This case would have bankrupted Scientology back in 1986. It is this case that was responsible for the corporate, or at least partially responsible for the corporate reorganization of Scientology into what it is today. Because back in 1986, to the best of my understanding, the mother church was the Church of Scientology of California. And that is the entity against which this $30 million judgment was levied, I guess is the word. And Scientology claimed, oh my God, we don't have the money. The Church of Scientology of California doesn't have that much money. The Church of Scientology of California is bankrupt, and they transferred money all around, and they created a new corporate shell and everything. And the judge didn't buy this. The courts didn't buy this. But it was this judgment. And Larry was a former Scientologist himself, a former Sea Org member, actually. And he essentially sued Scientology for being responsible for a mental breakdown that he had. And the court ruled that he was right. Anyway, I won't go over all the details, but if you're interested, the Wikipedia article for the Larry Wollersheim case is pretty complete. And I wanted to show you this docket here that verifies that this case number, because by the way, right here, we got a case number. The order number right there is the case number, C332027. We have the case number C332027, Larry Lawrence Dominic Wollersheim versus Church of Scientology. And I'm going to fast forward. I'm going to full day. Look at the date. Look at the date stamps here. This trial, like the original trial in the 80s, that was done. A new trial was initiated in Los Angeles to collect the damn money Scientology had refused to pay over for 25 years. And look at these dates. So the trial actually began early December 2005. Now look at the date of this order. The date that Ellen Marie Farney was found to be engaged in jury tampering. This is November 3rd, 2005. So let's go back here. What was happening on November 3rd? They were doing jury selection. Oh, I got to find it. Actually, I'm on the wrong the date here. I'm on the wrong dates here. Okay, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Starting on November 1st. Try to highlight this. Starting on November 1st, half day of jury selection. November 2nd, half day of jury selection. November 3rd, half day of jury selection. Bada boom. November 3rd, Ellen Marie Farney is censured by Judge William A. McLaughlin, the presiding judge at that time, for tampering with the prospective jury pool. Now, here's something, guys. At no point in the list of documents here, I don't know, is this called the docket? Let me pull it back up. Is this called a docket, you guys? Well, it's called a case summary, at least. At no point in here do I see any evidence that the defense team made a really big deal about an agent of the Church of Scientology engaging in jury tampering. And yet, if the defense team had been aware that this Ellen Marie Farney wasn't just some random person, because you might go, well, how does the judge know like the middle name? Without a doubt, the jurors went to the judge and said this, multiple jurors went to the judge, said this person has attempted to approach me and talk to me about the details of this case. I'm sure they they found Ellen, they got her ID, they knew who she was as a person. I don't see any evidence in this case record that they know that the judge, that the court, that the defense team knew that Ellen Marie Farney was a Scientology Sea Org member from the Office of Special Affairs International. Because if they knew that, this whole matter could have turned criminal against Scientology. They would have made a massive stink about it. Now, perhaps, and I'm purely speculating here, perhaps because the jury had not been selected yet, there was that this offense could only rise to such a level because whoever Ellen Farney approached was only a prospective juror and not an actual juror. But I'm only speculating. And yet, the fact that Emily Baker is aware that this jury tampering was done by Scientology indicates that the court must have been aware as well, because otherwise, how would Emily Baker have become aware? But do you see what my confusion is here? I don't see any evidence that the defense team made a really big deal about this. For example, I know that in the Danny Masterson trial, the Jane Does, the victims, wanted the jury sequestered for the second trial because of shenanigans that occurred in the first trial. And in the beginning, and no, I can tell you, no one on the prosecution team had any evidence to show to the judge that Scientology already has a history of jury tampering. In fact, it was the jury only got sequestered in the second trial after I had a little incident with a Scientology agent in the hallway outside the courtroom. Now, some morons tried to say that my little incident with this Scientology agent could have potentially derailed the entire trial. Quite the opposite. My little incident actually resulted in the jury getting sequestered. Which is ironic because that is what the Jane Does wanted in the first place. I will tell you that if the prosecution was aware that in the Wollersheim case, a Sea Org member from OSA Int was censured by the presiding judge for tampering with the jury pool, they would have been able to get that Masterson jury sequestered right from the beginning for that second trial. This is incredible. This is absolutely incredible. Let me see. There was something else here. I know there was something else here that I wanted to call attention to. What in the hell was it? We already read this, showed you the Wikipedia article, showed you this. I guess I did want to show that Larry Wollersheim himself had maintained a blog about these legal proceedings. And I just wanted to show it as additional sort of evidence that, yes, indeed, the Larry Wollersheim case was dragging on until late 2005. And when you look at this summary, so check it out. This is a full jury trial. We get to December 14th, and the jury is deliberating. My highlighting skills here are in need of remediation. Jury deliberating. This whole thing. So that's December 2005. Look how long this thing gets dragged on for. Years more. These guys were so dedicated to not giving. Well, actually, there was a saying, there was a chant. The Scientologists were at the time, back in the 80s, the Scientologists would show up outside the courthouse and have, I don't know if you'd call it a protest. It would almost be like, I don't know what you would call it. Maybe you would call it a protest. The chant was, not one thin dime for Wollersheim. Not one thin dime for Wollersheim. Well, they ended up giving him like 8,000 thin dimes. Or is it 80,000? I don't know, guys. How many dimes are there in $8 million? I don't know. I grew up in a cult. You guys help me with the math. I still feel there was something more. Oh, yeah. There's something more I wanted to say specifically about Ellen Farney. So I'm just looking off screen at my notes here. I know it looks like where the hell am I looking? I got 3 screens in front of me, you guys. So Ellen Farney, her post at one time at OSA International was the DA officer OSA Int. Now in Scientology, DA means to dead agent. It is, well, I guess L. Ron Hubbard said it was an intelligence term to basically neutralize the effect of an intelligence agent by thoroughly discrediting them so that nothing they would say thereafter could be believed. So, yep, Scientology had someone at their OSA International offices whose post title was the DA officer. All right. Who know, I don't claim to know what her day-to-day post duties were. Okay. Lynn Farney and Ellen Farney have a daughter named Elizabeth. Okay, well, enough with the ease, you guys. We got, okay, well, Ellen, we got Lynn, we got Ellen, and we got Elizabeth. Elizabeth works in Scientology's Continental Management Office called the CLOS-US, also located on L. Ron Hubbard Way. Ellen Farney attempted to escape from the Sea organization in 2006. She was actually caught while in the process. Most Sea Org members don't do it this way. She had rented a moving truck and was actually in the process of secretly, I don't know how you could expect to do this without getting caught, moving her boxes. And actually, she'd even gone out and hired some people. Well, maybe she was doing this in the middle of the day when nobody was at the birthing buildings and everybody was, at post, in the offices. She'd hired some people to move her belongings into this moving truck so that she could leave without permission. And she was snagged, and people reported her, and she was busted. And yeah. Now, what I would love, I guess this is a request for some additional information. Any former Sea Org members who know what the specific fallout was for Ellen Farney subsequent to November 3rd, 2005, when she is specifically named in tampering with the jury in the Wallersheim case. I mean, we can assume that she was doing that at specific orders coming from on high from David Miscavige. But we can also assume that she wasn't supposed to get caught. Generally speaking, when you're conducting Scientology black ops, you're not supposed to get caught. This is also like, I'm actually shocked that they would use their own Sea Org member for this. I mean, these days, Scientology is much smarter than this. They hire lawyers who hire other lawyers, who hire PIs, who hire thugs to do stuff like this. A Sea Org member from OSA Int going into a courtroom and trying to speak directly with potential jurors, that's unheard of. It makes you wonder if she was following orders or if she went rogue, or not rogue, like someone had the order to do this. Maybe Ellen was bypassing the person who was supposed to be doing it and wasn't doing a good job. And she's like, damn it to hell, I'll do it myself and get the job done. Who really knows? All I know is that mere months after she got busted for jury tampering, she was attempting to escape from the Sea organization. And she's now holed up in the basements underneath L. Ron Hubbard Way, writing letters to people. That is the life of a Scientology Sea Org member. So this is it, guys. This is Scientology jury tampering. And this isn't ancient history. This isn't 1970s. This isn't 1980s. This is 2005. I was still in the Sea organization in Los Angeles at this time. And I can tell you, I had no idea the Wallersheim lawsuit was even going on. I never heard one word about the Wallersheim lawsuit. To me, that was ancient history. To me, that was part of like the origin story of how the International Association of Scientologists was even created, was in part to protect Scientology and fund this legal war chest to be able to fight back against lawsuits like the Wallersheim lawsuit, which I was always told, thanks to the IAS, Scientology had emerged victorious in that lawsuit. Lo and behold, they paid Larry $8 million. This is kind of a pretty good example of how Scientologists who exist in the bubble are so sequestered from information that is available to regular people in the regular world. You'd think that Scientology's most dedicated workers would at least be aware of like ongoing civil lawsuits against the organization. No, you are not allowed to know about such things. It's considered, well, the Scientology word is N theta, which is short for interpolated theta, which just means bad news. Spreading around N theta is considered a crime in Scientology. It's considered a distraction from the goal of clearing the planet. Anyway, I think this is really big news. If I had an opportunity to talk to Emily Baker and ask her, how did she become aware that Ellen Marie Farney was an agent of Scientology? Why does the case record seem to indicate that the court, the judge, may not have been aware that Ellen Marie Farney was an actual agent of the Church of Scientology? Not a PI, not a lawyer, one of their dedicated billion-year SEERG members working at middle management. How did this not result in criminal action against Scientology? Maybe my lawyer friend Zach will be able to help me understand why this incident did not seem to rise to the level of criminal activity. All right, guys, that's all I got on this. If I do get any more new information, I will do another video on it. Let's see some super chats before I wrap up this video. Do you think Leah will get Shelley to the stand? No, I don't think. I personally, I don't think Shelley has anything to do with the lawsuit that's been brought, because Shelley doesn't have anything to do with the fair gaming against Leah. Now, somebody could say the fair gaming has been in part because Leah's been exposing that Shelley Miscavige has been shipped off to this secretive base and hasn't really had freedom of motion for a lot of years. But the lawsuit is about Leah being fair gamed, and there's no evidence I'm aware of that Shelley's been involved in that fair gaming. So what would she be? What would she be called to testify about? That's my personal opinion. If I learn anything new about that, I'll answer the question differently in the future. Angela Bernhardt, what can the court or Leah's team do to ensure the jury is not tampered with or infiltrated if they are not sequestered? It's an excellent question. I think sequestering the jury is what they can do about it. I think that's why juries get sequestered. That'd be another good thing for me to discuss with my lawyer friend, Zach. Thank you for the question, Angela. Clearwater Chad with a super sticker. Thank you, Clearwater Chad. Bro Osef. Here are 50 Canadian dimes for your efforts. Thank you for that. Guys, that's all I got on this for now. I got at least 3 more videos coming today. Stay tuned. Hit that like button if you haven't already. I greatly appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button while you're at it. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thank you to everyone who watches until the very end, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not,